Matilda the musical, based on Roald Dahl's Matilda, premiered on Netflix in December 2022. The film will follow the adventures of young genius Matilda Wormwood, played by Alicia Weir, and her dispute with the domineering headmistress Miss Trunchbull, played by Emma Thompson. Today's video is about Matilda the musical, and from the latest news to cast and character guide, we've got the scoop, so let's get going. We'll start today's video with Emma Thompson's injury. After star actor Emma Thompson was injured on the set of Matilda the musical, she doubted if she could complete the stunts. There are some stunts in the musical due to Matilda's abilities. Thompson's ankle injury during production made filming Matilda the musical more difficult, especially since she also had to deal with her bodysuit and the prosthetics required. Singing and dancing are essential components of any musical, and as the Whale's Brendan Fraser demonstrated, staying calm in prosthetics can be difficult. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Thompson expresses that the injury has caused her to doubt her capabilities. "I fell over for no good reason and fractured my ankle, and I thought, that's kind of weird. I've never hurt myself like that. That must be because I'm getting older." Next up is a brief overview of Matilda the musical. Matilda the musical is the Netflix adaptation of Dennis Kelly and Tim Minchin's Oliver and Tony award-winning musical of the same name. The movie and stage musical are based on Roald Dahl's book Matilda, published in 1988. Directed by Matthew Warchus, the musical revolves around Matilda, a witty 5-year-old who lives in Buckingham and is enrolled in Cruncham Hall, where she encounters headmistress Trunchbull, who desires nothing else but to crush Matilda's spirits and see her struggle. Unfortunately for snobby Trunchbull, Matilda's telekinesis makes that mission much more difficult. But how is it different from the 1996 adaptation? The musical is based on the stage adaptation and has an entirely different cast. Let's look at the cast of the newest adaptation of our beloved movie. First up is the main character, Matilda Wormwood. Not to state the obvious, but based on the film's synopsis, Matilda is a young girl gifted with extreme intelligence and a vivid imagination. She has a flavorful sense of humor and the kind of sarcastic remarks you won't hear from a kid her age. Matilda has been neglected since she opened her eyes in this cruel world, so she learned to fend for herself from a young age. Her parents, being ignorant as ever, aren't aware of their daughter's smartness. Her imagination comes in handy to escape from her dull, wretched life when she gets lost in the world of fairy tales and fantasy lands gifted to her by the love of reading books. Matilda begins to speak up for herself and the other students at Cruncham Hall Primary School, and with the help of her newly discovered powers, she can break free from the many chains of abuse that have encircled her. Matilda is brilliant for her age, and since she isn't challenged academically, this intelligence turns into telekinesis, which she uses to counter all the rotten adults in her life. Alicia Weir, the Matilda actor, is a wee bit older than Mara Wilson, which we assume is required for all the singing, dancing, and acting she has to do. The young star has been seen as Siobhan Callahan in Michael Tolley's Don't Leave Home, a 2018 horror film, and as Laura in the TV series Darklands. Weir also has voicing credits under her name as Primrose in the animated movie 2x2 Overboard. Secondly, we have Agatha Trunchbull. The headmistress Miss Trunchbull is the main antagonist of the musical and a character people can never forget. Played by the Academy Award winner Emma Thompson, Agatha Trunchbull despises children. She comes up with twisted and cruel methods to discipline the kids who dare to misbehave on the premises. The tyrannical woman never hesitates to throw children into a dark cupboard covered with nails and broken glasses called the Chokey. Ironically, the children's parents never believe if they tell them. Students and teachers alike all fear Agatha, and no wonder kids are afraid to even act their age in front of her. Miss Trunchbull despises children so much that she denies ever being a true child herself, while she reminisces and chases the high of her glory days as an Olympic athlete in 1972. The headmistress is a force to be reckoned with. If you start watching the musical and find her despicable at first, don't worry, as she'll surprise you with her awfulness once you watch more of her tyranny. The veteran and famous British actor Emma Thompson is best known for her roles as Beatrice in the rom-com movie based on Shakespeare's play of the same name, Much Ado About Nothing. Eleanor Dashwood in the period drama film Sense and Sensibility, a Jane Austen adaptation. Thompson is also seen in Love Actually as Karen and in the most famous Harry Potter series as Sybil Trelawney. She also has starred in recent blockbusters as Baroness von Hellman in Cruella and Good Luck to You Leo Grande as Nancy Stokes. Coming up, we have Miss Honey. The timid and kind schoolteacher at Cruncham Hall is Matilda's teacher, played by Lashana Lynch. Jennifer Honey is the niece of headmistress Trunchbull, who became her guardian as a child when she lost her father, Magnus Honey, due to a suspicious death. Living under Miss Trunchbull's shade, Miss Honey suffered a lot of trauma. She's even seen keeping a dark secret that haunts her every day, and due to her suffering, she empathizes with Matilda and all her students. Miss Honey isn't the same as her aunt and refrains from following her cruel methods and mentality, but acts as a safe haven for all the students at Cruncham Hall. Miss Honey is the first to recognize Matilda's extraordinary intellect and always encourages her to read more and participate in other academic activities. She even tries to talk about Matilda's above-average intelligence with her parents, but they dismiss her, and so does Miss Trunchbull, who refuses to move Matilda to a more advanced class. Whenever news surfaces about the adaptations of a classic, fans harshly criticize the newer versions and their cast. Still, Matilda's Miss Honey was an exception, as many think the recent version best depicts the character. Lashana Lynch is an actress reasonably known by all. The British actor is seen in Marvel Cinematic Universe's Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as Maria Rambeau, as Nomi in No Time to Die, a sequel to the acclaimed James Bond series, and as Izogi in Viola Davis's The Woman King. Let's look at Mr. Wormwood. The neglectful father of Matilda, Mr. Wormwood, is played by Stephen Graham. Mr. Wormwood is a used car salesman who earns his living by selling broken down and written-off vehicles and has a side business based on stolen car parts. Mr. Wormwood is mostly seen giving attention to his shady businesses and has his eyes glued to the TV instead of caring about his daughter for a change. Mr. Wormwood, being the depiction of a pathetic father, often verbally abuses his daughter Matilda and even tears up the books she brings home from the town library. How can we forget when he referred to Matilda as a mistake? Yikes. Stephen Graham's notable roles include Andrew Combo Gascoigne in Shane Meadows' This Is England, Tony Provenzano in Robert De Niro's The Irishman, and Babyface Nelson in Public Enemies. You also might have seen him in Venom, Let There Be Carnage as Detective Mulligan, and in the last season of the famous British TV series Peaky Blinders. What's more, we have Mrs. Wormwood. Andrea Riseborough, an English actress and producer, plays Matilda's self-absorbed and vapid mother, Mrs. Wormwood. Like her husband, Mrs. Wormwood ignores Matilda and despises her. She's more concerned about her looks, social life, and spending money. You won't find Mrs. Wormwood bothering to care for her family or showing an interest in her daughter's intelligence, but you'll see her playing bingo 5 times a week and enjoying ballroom dancing. Andrea Riseborough is known for appearing as Laura in the Oscar-winning movie Birdman, Alicia Holt in Tom Ford's Nocturnal Animals, and Beatrice in the star-studded film of 2022 entitled Amsterdam. The British actress has appeared in several TV shows, including Bloodline, where they play the role of Mia Nolan. They also had a guest appearance in an episode of Netflix's Black Mirror titled Crocodile. Following up with Mrs. Phelps. While Mrs. Phelps played a minor role in the 1996 film, her role in the 2022 remake has been expanded. Her library has been converted into a traveling one, making it easier for Mrs. Phelps to be present for Matilda, as she's arguably the first person to make Matilda feel less alone. Mrs. Phelps is a kind-hearted woman and encourages Matilda's love for reading. She even puts together a list of books Matilda can read when she recognizes her above-average intellect. Sindhu V plays Mrs. Phelps. V's notable roles are Shazia in Bounty, Sindhu in Starstruck, and Libby in The Importance of Being Earnest. Her comedic side can be seen in Sky Comedy Sindhu V's Live and Let Love. You can also catch V's stand-up comedy live at the Apollo. Up next, Lavender. Lavender, Matilda's friend, is one of her few allies. Lavender meets Matilda at school, and she assists our oddball protagonists as they navigate the treacherous terrain of bullies, both in the shape of other students and Headmistress Trunchbull at Cruncham Hall. You might be surprised, but this happens to be Ray Yamauchi Fulker's first on-screen role, and we can't help but agree she comes across as a natural. Now for Bruce Bogtrotter. Bruce Bogtrotter, a student at Cruncham Hall, is punished by Miss Trunchbull and forced to eat a massive chocolate cake. In his new musical movie update, the grotesque scene from the 1996 film is transformed into a striking song and dance act. While Dodson Pryor appears to be new to the world of film, he's still young. Dodson Pryor is a seasoned theater performer, having played Gavroche in the Les Miserables musical tour. Coming up, we have Amanda Thripp. In Matilda, you'll come across many students of Cruncham Hall. Another student we see is Matilda's classmate Amanda Thripp, played by Winter Jarrett Glasspool. Amanda, known for her pigtails, sometimes triggers a scary moment in Matilda the movie when the headmistress Trunchbull swings young Amanda over her head by her satin-bowed pigtails. Shudders indeed. For Winter Jarrett Glasspool, Matilda the musical is her first acting credit. Lastly, we have Hortensia. Hortensia is a student at Cruncham Hall who ultimately befriends Matilda and Lavender. Misha Garbett plays the role of Hortensia and has also appeared in Fast and the Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw as a young Hattie. She also had smaller parts in Cats the Musical and Jingle Jangle: A Christmas Journey. That is a wrap for this video. Have you already watched Matilda the Musical? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.